Hi traders, and welcome to the PL Capital Forex Report. I'm your host Paul. Today is Friday, November 24th, just before 2 p.m. Central Time. The Forex market is actually still open, but there's not going to be much happening for the rest of this trading day, so making this video early. So let's get to the chart. We're going to be covering the US dollar, euro, pound, CAD, and the yen. This is the US dollar index. This is the 4-hour chart. And not a whole lot has really happened in the dollar since my last video. I still see this as they're going to be making an A, B, and they're coming down for a C wave. And the C wave I don't believe is done yet. So in the last video, we were over here, and I said all I saw was just a 1, 2, and a 3 wave. Well, they were over here somewhere. Yeah, right about there. So all I saw was 3 waves, and so I knew that they would have to be coming down and correcting it. And it looks like they're now making an ending diagonal. So if we kind of zoom in a little bit, it looks like you have like a little 3 wave here. 1, 2, 3. I think that's 1. I think that's 2. It looks like there could be like a little running flat, or maybe just one of these corrections is it for just creating a 3 wave move down. And I think that was 3, and then you came up in 3. I think that's 4, and so I think that this will be 1, come on, 2, and then they'll break this 103, 178 one more time for the 5th wave of this 5 wave move down. So this will be an ending diagonal for the 5th wave of the C wave here. And so my thesis is still the same as last week, that I think all of this is just going to be this ABC down, I don't know, somewhere under 103.17. This C wave will end. I think that'll just be A, and then we're still going to get a 3 wave correction up, followed by 1 more down. I mean, I still think they'll be going up. There is a possibility that this 5 wave move isn't the beginning of something. It might actually be the end of something. So, but for now, this is my my forecast, I guess. This ABC is just going to finish A, and then we're going to go up for B, still 1 more down. And then this wave, I'll watch real closely. That this will tell me if they're just going to, this is just going to be a big ABC, and then when they come down here, then they'll reverse it for 1 more up. So we got a lot of time before that wave happens. But expecting just a little bit more, 1 more wave down for the dollar, and then there should be a correction upwards coming. And so with that mindset, if we look at all the currency pairs, this euro should be going up to break its high 109.6 one more time, and then give us that correction. So this zone that I have, I thought that they might be starting it, but this looks like it's creating an ending diagonal, just like the dollar is too. So I think there's 1 more up in the dollar, which means this zone, it'll be moving upwards accordingly, but I'll redraw it once this 109 high gets taken out. So I think there's a little bit more up. So if you're not in the trade, I wouldn't be buying, and I'd only sell once they break 109.6, because then that'll be a pretty decent sized correction, and then still 1 more up. So and probably next week I'll be able to have a zone of where I think this correction should end. So just a little bit more up, And then if you're in, then you need to make a decision on what do you do? Do you want to take some profit and let it pull back and then enter more again, or you have to decide up there. And so on the pound, I've changed the count. So last week I had this as WXY, and then I thought, okay, this could be X, and then they're going to go up for the Z wave, but this wave it's extending too much, and this whole pattern doesn't look corrective anymore. You know, like when we were over here, you know, that looks very much like a W and an X and a Y. You know, it's just very sideways. You know, went up, went almost all the way down, and then it just barely broke. But now that they've corrected, and now that this is pushing up, now I think this is a leading diagonal. And so this to me looks like the high actually could be in, because that could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and now you just finish a three-wave move up for 5. So the pound might be done, or, you know, very, very, very close to being done. Finishing, this would be like oh, actually, no, I'm sorry. This is going up in 3 waves. So, yeah, the pound would have to go up a little bit more, because this would be something like that. That'd be 1, 2, and then that'd be creating an ending diagonal. So this would be 1, and this 3-wave move here, 1, 2, 3. That's 2. This is probably just 3. They'll be coming down for a 4, but still going up for the 5. So yeah, the pound will probably be breaking its 1, 2, 6 high for 5 waves, and then, you know, just like the euro, you get that correction, and then still at least one more up. So if you're not in, I just let this correction happen, and then somewhere we'll see how high this 5th wave goes, but somewhere down here is going to be a really good entry for playing that move up. Moving on to the CAD. All right, so they broke that A low, and it looks to me like, you know, this is the A, and here's a 3-wave move up for B, and it looks very much like they're creating an ending diagonal for C, and that's why I put this C wave over here, because I don't think that this C wave is in. So I'm going to actually remove that line. That line doesn't mean anything anymore. So it looks to me like you've got 1, 2, 3. I think that's 1. Came up here really sharp for 2. And then this looks like 1, 2, 3, and then actually there's like a 1, 2, 3. I think this whole thing is A, this was B, and this could be a C for the 3rd wave. So that was 1, that was 2. Somewhere, I think the 3 should be in, and now you're going to come up fairly high. You know, probably like 1, 3, 7 for the 4th wave. So then you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and then that'll mark the end of that C wave. And so then when that ends, we'll have to see just how strong it ends, because you do have a lot of divergence. So that could be all the correction. That could be just the A, B, and a C. And you might not get like a 3-wave, you know, like this ABC would be A, and then this 3-wave would be B, and then they'll come down one more time for the C. You might not get that wave. So I'd let them correct up in 3 and then come back down in 3 and break that 135 level. And then that's a good place to look for a buy setup, because at a minimum you'll get a 3-wave correction, even if they're going to come down one more. So you'll be able to get pretty decent profit on that 3-wave correction, if they're even going to do that. Could just be very well that they're going to come all the way up. That'd be a pretty big correction anyway, and you'd be getting really close to this resistance zone. So yeah, that'd be a really good entry actually. So let this correction play out, go up in 3 and down in 3. Really good entry over here. And going on to the yen. All right, so last week we were sitting over here and they almost broke that 4 level where the 4 ended. They almost came down and then they kind of spiked it back up. And I said I thought that they would just continue on through. So this level doesn't mean anything. All that tells me is that the fifth wave is done. And I thought it was last week. But we just needed that confirmation. So we got that. And so far all I see is this A, B, C down. And I'd like to really see them come down to this 145 level. Let's say 146. So, you know, and this C wave was really strong. So, you know, you're not going to have any divergence. So I could really see this one. You know, we're like we just saw on the CAD, like that's a pretty big correction. That's why I think that ABC could be all the correction. Where on this one, it's so swift and powerful. I think that this ABC that's just going to be the A, and now they're in the process of making a B. You know, so maybe like something like this. Maybe come down one more time, go back up. You know, then you'll have an ABC, that'll be B, and then come down one more time. And it'd be really nice if they, really came down in, really close to here at least, into it, or at least break 147 one more time. And then they'll be going back up to break the 151. So I'd let that happen, 3 waves up and then come down again. Now, this wave will tell us, this wave coming down, if it comes down real swift, impulsively, or if you even see 5 waves, then I feel like, you'll have a 335 correction. And then this would be a really good area to start looking for a buy setup to go all the way and break that high. If it does come down in 3 waves, then this could be the start of a leading diagonal, and then this correction will be probably getting big, because then this is 1, that'll be 2, and then they'll be just coming down for 3, go up for a 4, down for 5. Then that whole thing will correct and still more down. So this wave will tell us what's going on. But definitely I be ready under 147 to start looking for a buy setup, because eventually they'll go back up and break that 151. All right, that's what I see on the Forex pairs. Hope it helps. Appreciate the likes and support, and I will see you in the next video.